So, for the most part, I've had a pretty flawless 5-star rating on Lyft. And they say the ratings don't really count, but they're still counting it as far as what level your tier you're on, gold or whatever. So I don't know how they say it doesn't count, because it still counts as far as your tiers are concerned. Not a big deal, but I picked up the lady a few days ago. It was the day before the 4th of July, 2025. And first of all, she came out late. She took almost the entire 5 minutes before she came out. I think she came out and it was like a minute left, less than a minute left. She got in the car. She's complaining, oh my God, it's hot. Now, I just turned the AC on because I just started driving for the day. It was still relatively early, so it wasn't as hot as it gets usually in the afternoon, because we are going into summer, spring going into summer. So I get it, it gets hot. And I just had turned the AC on a little ways up the road before I picked her up. She got in the car. 1 second. She got in the car. She's, oh my God, it's so hot. And she's trying to turn that vent this way. She's giving me orders on which way to direct the vent. And she stated she's pregnant. She wasn't showing a bulge, but she stated she was pregnant. Like that's supposed to make you hotter, I guess. And the whole ride, she's like, oh, turn it up, turn it up. I'm like, the AC's up. I just turned it on. I was honest. Mind you, it's only second person to complain early morning about the AC. And it was, both times, it was right when I just had gotten the car to start my day. So the AC takes a minute to kick in. And I don't like to blast the AC all morning because it does run gas. So I like to put it on low in the morning, and later on in the afternoon when it's hot, turn it up higher. So that was my first game. Of course she 1-starred me. Of course. She couldn't give me a 4-star, 3-star, no, 1-star. I notice when people, for the most part, and drivers probably can agree to this, if people are moderately happy with the ride, you get a 5-star, maybe 4. If people are disagreeable, even the slightest bit, they go right to 1-star. Very few people will hit you with a 3 or 2 stars. Very few. It has happened in my lifetime, but people go right to the 1-star. I'm not really complaining. I'm just telling you the story, because if you have a perfect 5 stars and somebody gives you a 1-star, it's not really a big deal. 4.9 or something, whatever it is. So it's really not a big deal. And Lyft claims the rating don't really matter, except for the tiers that they give you, which are bullshit anyway. They really don't do much for us. So that's what happened that day. Messed up my perfect rating. Today, I had a good ride this morning. Picked up a guy. And normally I'm in a talkative mood, but I didn't want to talk the guy to death. And I'm down here in Bristol, Connecticut. ESPN has a headquarters there in Bristol, Connecticut. Picked up a guy, obviously employee, ESPN. Relative, he seemed pleasant. Hey, hi, thanks for the ride. We didn't talk because I'm just not in an overly talkative mood. Dropped him off at Enterprise. I'm assuming he's renting a car. Didn't talk to him at all. Relatively pleasant ride. Got 5 stars. and a $5 tip. So it's not like you got to do a lot to please people, but the slightest little thing you do wrong, especially for Uber, I think Uber passengers are actually more judgmental than Lyft, believe it or not. Normally I don't get bad judgmental people on Lyft. I think Lyft to me is more like the ghetto Uber. So people that are on, and I'm sorry if you're a passenger and you like Lyft, I'm not calling you necessarily ghetto, but just my experience. I get more ghetto rides on the Lyft side, and they're not as judgmental. Where you tend to get people in a higher class of living on the Uber side. I don't know why that is, but that's just my experience. Very judgmental, but they do tip better. So your pros and your cons. Every blue moon I will get a good tip on Lyft though, so I can't say I don't, because I'm overly friendly most of the time. So I'll get a tip either side because I target in on interesting topics that people want to talk about. I'm not big on sports, but if I sense they're into sports, I'll take what little knowledge I have of the topic and try to talk about something. Like, I'm not a baseball fan at all, but I like to wear Yankee fitteds, and people like often like just, talk about the Yankees. I would say I'm slightly more of a basketball fan than anything else, but I'm a basketball fan back in the day, more so in the 90s than now. So I like to bring up old players compared to like newer players. The LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan thing is always a good topic, because the current generation, obviously, they love King James more. So I'll find something interesting about. My favorite topic, though, more so than talking about my YouTube channels and talking about rideshare, AI technology. So if I get somebody in software or business, I'm going to school them. And I think a lot of times people are surprised and taken back that Uber drivers have any knowledge of anything other than driving. And that's crazy to me. I don't think they think we're dumb. I just think they think that transportation is all you've done, so you can't possibly be that well-rounded. But you'd be surprised. Uber drivers come from all walks of life. There's people that I've seen videos where they're lawyers that drive part-time Uber and Lyft. I've seen people from pretty much all walks of life, teachers, business owners, people that own businesses outside the platform will still drive Uber and Lyft part-time, at least, because it's kind of not worth it full-time anymore. The pay is just that bad. I'm down to part-time myself. But once upon a time, I would say 2018, 2019 were probably the last 2 good years, in my opinion. Not counting the pandemic, because it was extra money flooding the economy. There was people from all walks of life driving Uber and Lyft. I had a guy that pretty much, he must have had his own fleet. And this was his wife was telling me about her husband having a nice tier car that used to be black before they downgraded most of the good cars. But I think she said he had a BMW, older model BMW, and she said she wore it into the ground doing Uber and Lyft. And that's when the pay was good. That's when the pay was good. So, and I'm saying this because I'm wearing my car out, and I'm glad I'm transitioning kind of out into the courier side, preferably medical courier. I don't think I'm going to be doing any type of food delivery. I thought I would. I thought I would try food delivery, but I hear so many bad stories about food delivery that I kind of don't even want to try it. Hit me in the comments. Let me know if you think I should try Uber Eats or DoorDash even. If DoorDash has a delivery side other than food, I probably would try it. Uber pays shitty for everything. I'm pretty sure. Packages, food, shopping. I don't believe Uber will pay good on for anything. I just don't. I heard a rumor that, hit me in the comments if you heard this rumor. I heard a rumor that Lyft was partnering with DoorDash on some capacity. I don't know what that was about. I heard something online about that. I think that even a rideshare professor might have mentioned it. But, or Show Me the Money Club, one of them. I just don't want to deal with these shady apps anymore. I want to go to the more credible apps, and the more credible apps and the companies are courier apps. And I'm not talking about Roadie necessarily, although I did sign up for Roadie. I didn't try anything. I signed up. Not hearing too many good things about Roadie. Roadie's like the bottom of the barrel. I'm talking about the companies you don't hear about, like the good medical courier companies you really don't hear about. Not a lot of rideshare drivers talk about them. I want to start doing those and start bringing them to the channel and telling you guys about those. That'll give me more content. That'll give you some more, what should I say, more upbeat content. So we're not constantly talking about how bad things are. We'll be talking about good news. Because to me, Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, Instacart, Amazon Flex, all garbage. And you're going to mostly have bad news when you're talking about those. I want to talk about the companies that you never hear about, and I'll try them and be like, okay, I tried this medical app and they're actually paying me good, and I made such and such amount of dollars. That's going to bring up the channel because I'm not getting the views anymore. Believe it or not, when I was talking about doom and gloom, I was getting views. I was getting a lot of views. Go back to my older videos, you'll see I was getting a lot of views. I think my biggest video on my Nice Guy Driver channel had over 10,000 views. But I was talking about doom and gloom. I want 10,000 views on some good news. And I'm sure you guys want to hear good news. You know, apps that actually pay drivers decent. And the medical courier side, I'm looking forward to, because from what I'm hearing, the pay is extremely better. And the misconception was, I thought I had to have everything already set up, like the LLC. I thought I had to have the commercial insurance. You don't. The good news is you can start doing medical deliveries with your regular insurance. So all that me crying about commercial insurance, I don't have to do it anymore. I still want to get commercial insurance, mind you. I want to get the LLC set up. We're going to be talking about that in the future. I still want to do the commercial insurance because I want to build business and corporate credit. I still got to set up the business. And I want the money flowing through the business and then pay me a paycheck, like a regular employee. So we are going to still set that up that way. But I don't want to do the doom and gloom anymore, you know? I don't want to be constantly giving you videos about how bad Uber and Lyft is. I want to start talking about some companies that actually pay decent, so we can actually start making some decent money, you know. And I think the views will come with the good news, I hope. So I'm counting on you guys to support the channel in any way you can. I'm still in Bristol, about to turn the apps back on. It's a slow Saturday. I didn't expect to be busy today. I did make a few dollars, but I didn't expect it to be busy today. Hope you guys had a great 4th of July. By the time you see this, it'll be much later, but I hope you had a great 4th of July. Extremely slow 4th of July, but I still made my minimum for the day, thank God. But I had to go further than I normally like to drive to get it, you know. So really no bad news necessarily. It just wasn't a busy 4th of July. I don't know, this has been the quietest 4th of July I've seen in years. And it's probably because everybody's struggling in the economy right now. And the only good news with the current administration, with that big bill that I saw, drivers get to keep tips. And if there are some perks to being a business owner. So you want to set up your own business, set up your LLC, there will be some perks in the new bill if you're a business owner. Not what I originally thought. I thought originally you had to be wealthy to get any perks from the new bill. They are cutting into medical, but there are some perks in the new bill for business owners. So what does that mean? It's time to start your own business. It's time. It's the only way we're going to get ahead. Is you can't beat them, you got to join them. Maybe we won't get rich, but we can set up a business and take advantage of some of these perks that they're going to have in this new bill for business. I don't want to get in too political and go into all of them, but I saw a few. I saw somebody break down line by line the bad news, the good news. The good news is, if you're a business owner, there are some perks. And the tips help with the Uber drivers. Doesn't help every business, but it helps us because we can write off a lot of that tip money, which if you're smart enough, you've been already doing that anyway. I've been writing off a lot of stuff anyway. I haven't paid taxes as an Uber driver in 3 years. Not a tax professional. I'm just saying, if you do this right, you won't even have to pay taxes as an independent contractor, self-proprietor. But I want to do the LLC for other reasons, for some business credit reasons. So if you want to watch some of that content, just stay tuned, subscribe, like, comment, and I'm going to see you guys in the next one. Thank you.